Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Um, can I see everyone in the chat type? I'm fired up and I'm good to go. Let's go. Let's give people some time to log on, to invite friends, to sign in, and yeah, we'll get started in about a minute or so. Okay, I think we can go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday's Prosperity for Your Soul. And every day of the week, we have an activity which you can log into and join into. On Mondays, we have Rev Water who comes through with the program. On Tuesdays, we have Dr. Sylvia B. Mwansa. On Wednesdays, we have an open market where people can sell their products and let people know what they're doing out there, advertise their services, advertise their products. On Thursday, we have Prosperity for Your Soul with Dr. Nelly, which we're doing today. And on Fridays, we have Dr. Jackie Wilundika, who comes to us, bring us a health session and just speaking to us about our health. Good morning, everyone. I can see the greetings coming in. I can see the greetings trickling in. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking time out of your busy schedules this Thursday. Um, Brief introduction. My name is Kampamba Mabuluki. I'm the founder of Verbatim Scribe and Last Job Therapy. I'm also a life coach and a mentor, but I'm also a mentee of Dr. Nelly. This is why you see me here today. Carol has a way of catching me off guard. I've known her since school, and she slipped it past me and asked me, "What are you doing? What are you up to these days?" I said, "Well, I'm doing a few things, but I still have room on my plate." The moment I said I have room on my plate for extras is how I got slipped into prosperity for your soul. Um, a bit of my background. I'm the son of a preacher and a teacher. So today you get what you call a two-for-one special or a double combo. I'll delve into both because they say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So I'd like everyone in the chat to type, "It can be me. It can be me. It can be me." As we get our lives in order before December 31st, it can be you, it can be me. The reason I say it can be me or it can be you is because for the last year and for the last couple of Thursdays and the other days, you log on here, you see Dr. Nelly speaking to us, you see Dr. Nelly teaching us and mentoring us. And, you know, we all can sit there and wonder and think, oh, maybe to be me one day. Well, today is that day, and it is me. So it can be you, and it can be me. I'm to kind of base my talk on, and it's from Kings 20, verse 1 to 3. I like watching rabbis teach about business on Instagram, and I like watching other teachers teach about business. And one thing that's constant is how teaching has evolved, how the gospel has evolved, and how we receive information. We receive it in different ways. So by picking this text, I found it very interesting because the perspective is this king is about to die. The character in this story is King Hezekiah and is about to die. He's told you have time. And it can be you and it can be me. Death is guaranteed and death is certain, so it can be you, it can be me. But this applies to all phases and all aspects of life. When I say it can be me or it can be you, what does that mean? Usually, well, it's not a very common occurrence, first of all, to receive a death sentence or receive word that you're going to die. We certainly don't know when we're going to die, but we're all going to die one day. And it's the same perspective we take. We know 2024 is coming, we know January 1st is coming, and we know what comes with the new year. But with a few weeks left, we already know it can be you, it can be me. For those of you who have kids, you know school fees are coming, you know rent is due for those of you who rent, and you know there's certain things in life that are constant and will come, whether you prepare for it or not. So instead, why not just say it can be me and become that person and become ready for it? Um, all of us as mentees, all of us as mentors, one day will be in the position I'm in and will be asked to speak and be asked to share. So what do we do in those moments? Or what do we do? What helps us react in those situations? So Hezekiah reacted in the manner he reacted, not because he was going to die. I looked at it from a different perspective, which is there is still some life left in us. There's still 3 or 2 weeks to go to the end of 2023. So type in the chat, there's still some life left in me. There's still some life left. And it's that life that's left that's going to carry us into 2024. In those 2 weeks, in those 3 weeks, you still have time to plan, you still have time to execute, and you still have time to push yourself into 2024. We can't wait for January 1st. We can't wait for January 8th when business resumes, when people return to their offices, to then get geared up and get fired up. The time is today. The time is now. So there is still some life left. So you need to type in the chat, there's still some life left, and it can be you. Now, on the still some life left, of course, Hezekiah realized, he said, oh, wait, I don't need to die now. There's still some life left in me. What did he base the fact that there's still some life left in him? He dug back into his life and looked back on the things he had done and the things he had achieved. There's so much we've achieved, there's so much we've done in 2023. There's so much we've put that's been put in us. There's so much we've done for others, and we need to dig back and harness that energy and realize that there's still some life left in us. For those of you who can see on the cameras and on the call, I'm wearing a little flag here, which is a UN badge. Earlier on this year, the first half of this year, I was a recipient of an award. If you'd asked me last year or 2 years ago, I'd have told you, I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds impossible. It's not possible. But it happened. Why did it happen? Because someone took a chance the same way as I went to speak to Hezekiah, the same way the next point I'm moving to, which is Jesus calling Lazarus out of the tomb. Now, the reason he called that life out of the tomb, I'd like to think also from a different perspective, is because he was young and there was still life left in him. We still have life left in us. If we have energy to open our mouths, if we have energy to rise up from our beds and do what needs to be done around the house and carry on with our lives, there's still some life left in us. Now, even though there's still some life left in us, when Lazarus was called out of the grave, he had grave clothes on. Now, we can't go to town and do our business with grave clothes on. Those grave clothes need to come off, and we can't enter 2024 with grave clothes. So we need to take those grave clothes off. Now, there's a call to action. Once the stone is rolled away, and who rolls the stone? Who rolls the stone away? It's people who speak into our lives. It's our mentors. It's our parents. For some of us who are lucky to have parents still alive, it's people speaking to your life. Those are the people who are calling you out of the tomb and telling you there's still some life left in you. Now you also have a call to action, which is walking and coming out. But you also have to take off your grave clothes. The grave clothes could be on your finances, they could be on your business, they could be on your personal life. but you can't get into the day, you can't get into next year still wearing those grave clothes. People are going to be scared and say, we're seeing a ghost, or what's that thing coming? And they run the other direction and run the other way. So, getting our life in order before December 21st requires us to introspect and look at our lives and just give ourselves that look of encouragement in the mirror and say, there's still some life left in me. It can be me, and I can still keep it moving. Now, there's several things that need to be done when you introspect. I like to joke with a friend of mine who had the chance to visit at some point this year. We always say, today is one of those days where you cancel your calls, call your secretary, tell her to put all your calls on hold, jump into your car, go home, sit with your mirror and have a talk with yourself. Now, having a talk with yourself is something that's easy and at the same time is not easy because it requires you to be honest with yourself. It requires you to examine both the good and the bad. But as life is, both exist. You can't have the good without the bad, and you can't have the bad without the good. What the bad does is it helps us appreciate all the good things that happen around us. Having a roof over our head, having clothes on our back, having food in our stomach, all the other privileges and things other people wish they had. And those are the things that we should focus on and dwell on and figure out, how am I going to harness that? But also, what we have is our gifts, the products we sell, the services and what we do, or the talents we're blessed with. Those are for us to help and bless others. Because if you're not helping and blessing others with the gifts and talents that you have, how then do you think they're going to materialize and turn those things into wealth? How do you think they're going to work for you? You can't use the gifts on yourself. You can't use the talents that you have on yourself. They are for other people. And so, in that respect, as you introspect and retrospect, you need to get fired up and say, it can be me. There's still some life left in me, but with the life that I have, by blessing others, by teaching others, by pouring into others, I'm also getting blessed. It is it is when you begin to teach others, it is when you begin to exercise what you have, that it begins to multiply. I'll give you an example. When you go into the field, for some of us who farm, and you put in 2 grains of corn, you've seen a few months later when it's rained and when it begins to grow, how many cobs come off that stalk. I'm one of the corn cobs that's come off the stalk of Dr. Nelly. I'm one of the corn cobs that's come off the stalk of my parents. Why is that? Because they've taken time to pour into me, they've taken time to teach me, they've taken time to mentor me. Now, even when you take a corn cob is not perfect. It has some kernels on it which look a bit rotten. There's some kernels on it which have been eaten by the birds. But the fact is, the cob still has some kernels on it. It still has life. And that's how we are as people too. We're imperfect, but even in our imperfections, there's still things we can do. There's still things we're good at. Um, when my old man or my dad is preaching, he always says there's no person who is useless. No one is useless. Everyone has something they can offer. Everyone has something in them that they can give. That's why even when a mad person gets run over, they don't get treated the same way when a dog gets run over. The family of that person comes, they take them and they give them a different barrel. So we got to understand that there's still some life left in us. It can be you and it can be me. So please, as we get into this, by the time we get to December 31st, your life should be in order. Don't wait for January 1st. Don't wait for January 8th when offices open. By the time January 8th is coming, your email should have gone out, your strategic plan should be in place. And that way, people should find you running, people should find you in the zone, people should find you ready for what's coming. So, just to recap for those who've joined us, I'm speaking about getting your life in order before December 31st, but I'm also speaking about it being you. Just as I'm speaking to you, it can be you tomorrow, it can be someone else. But remember, there's still life left in us. And the best way to harness that life that's left in us is to prepare adequately. So I'll speak a little bit on things you can do, and I've spoken about this. I've spoken about this before. We're going through very turbulent economic times, and rentals have gone up, the cost of living has gone up, and financially, people are struggling here and there, and people still have responsibilities. Now, I always say to people who have children who are in school or people who have to pay school fees, there's what we call the slight edge. I always say if you go to school and say, I have 50% of the school fees or even 30%, there is no one who's going to turn down money. No one is going to refuse money. Why? Because it shows commitment, but it also shows you have a plan. So, I advise parents, even after you've paid for this first term, start paying slowly for the second term and start planning for the third term. The reason being, your kids won't stop going to school, your kids won't stop learning. But what you can do is get ahead of the curve and plan for that. Usually in January, that's when people now start thinking, let me get an advance from work, let me get a loan, let me go to Shylock in the neighborhood and get some money. I assure you, if the school sees that commitment and said this person has been consistent and they've been committed, no one turns down money, no one turns away someone with a plan. By the time you get to term two, if you've been diligent with even putting a small amount there, you find that by the time the term two fees come, your bill is 800 kwacha, your bill is 1,000 kwacha. Why? Because you've been diligent with and consistent with what you're doing. For those of you who run businesses, for those of you who run products and services and business are not easy. I always tell people, show me someone who's in business and they've never failed at business, they've never lost money, or they've never had challenges. And I'll show you someone who's a bona fide business person. The reason being, even I, as I'm speaking today, had debt at the beginning of the year. I had debt for most part of the year, and business wasn't going as it should. But I knew there's still some life left in me. I knew there's some things I could do to get there. So my advice to you is, as Dr. Nelly says, now is the time to work on your LinkedIn profiles. Now is the time to work on your products and services and start selling them to people already. You'll be surprised at how people start contacting you and say, I won't be in the office until January 8th or January 20th, but can we schedule a meeting? Can you send me a rate card? Can you send me an invoice? That's being ahead of the curve. While the rest of the world is looking at being on vacation now in December, they're looking at New Year's Eve and blowing some money, going out and doing whatever it is that they do. That is a time for you to be diligent and sit down and plan and be strategic. By the time 31st December rolls into 1st January, you'll be ready with the plan already. People will be surprised and say, this person sent me an email on January 1st. This person sent me an email on December 28th. That's because you realized you still had some life left in you, and it can be you. It's life is not about everyone else or what other people are doing. It's about you. It's about introspecting. It's about canceling all your calls, canceling all your meetings, taking some time to look into the mirror and speak into your life. People have already rolled the gravestone away from the tomb time and time again. Every Thursday, Dr. Nelly comes here, rolls the stone from the tomb. We hear from our mentors, we hear from business leaders, and from various sources. And you realize that, you know what? All I need to do now is walk out. And then, once the grave clothes are removed, people will realize and say, you know what? This person is not dead. This person is not out of it. This person is still going. Now I have 10 minutes left and 10 minutes to go. So I've spoken about business. I've spoken about I've touched on financial planning a little bit. The other thing we need to do is also harness our spiritual lives and harness our whole being as a person. Now, routine is called routine for a reason, and I have a friend who likes saying cliches are cliches for a reason. The reason they are cliches is because they're true, and it's because these things are there. Before I continue, I need to remind you that we have an event coming up on 22nd December, and this is an appreciation call online. So, for the people who've been showing up time and time again, on December 22nd, on December 22nd, there will be an event, and the speaker will be Dr. Sylvia B. Mwansa, who also takes a session every Tuesday on this platform, on this very platform. So be there at 7:30. The link will be shared and posted in the various groups, and it is what it is. I'm looking forward to it already. I'm looking forward to learning, and I'm always looking forward to learning and getting new information that will push me and get me into 2024, the best version of me and the best version that can be. As a wrap up, I'd first like for you to all take time to clap for yourselves and pat yourselves on the back. First of all, just getting through a calendar year, getting through 365 days is not easy. 365 days comes with a lot of challenges. 365 days comes with a lot of thinking, a lot of trying, a lot of striving, and also a lot of failures. And people often don't talk about failure. People don't talk about challenges because they think, well, what do they think of me? I'll tell you something for free. People can't help you if they don't know what you're going through. People can't help you if they don't know what your challenges are. Now, I don't mean going to post on Facebook and telling everyone I have a problem, but there need to be people in your life you can speak to. There need to be people in your lives you can run to for shelter, for cover, and for protection. Dr. Ned is one of the people I confide in and speak to when things aren't going great. And it's when things aren't going great that usually people may have a solution for you, people may have help for you. No one's life is perfect, no one's family is perfect. Um, everyone's family has drama, everyone's family has ups and downs. Of course, part of the family unit and part of the way family is people protect each other within the family. That's why you never hear of the drama that goes on. But trust me, every family its issues, every family has its situation. And just the fact that we're December we're December 12th today, and you just have about a few more days to go to finish the year, you need to clap for yourself and pat yourself on the back. And also remember that you still have some life left in you. As we go into next year, please remember to give it your best all the time. um as you've seen, you may or may not have seen, I've been doing some journalism work recently. That's simply because I was interacting with someone online. I was speaking to someone online. Before I knew it, I was getting calls and said, oh, can you report on this? Oh, can you report on that? I know for a fact, come 2024, I'll be at a different place as far as my career is concerned, as far as my life is concerned. Not because I'll start on January 1st, but it's because of all the things I've been doing in 2023 in preparations, all the things I've been doing. The time of preparation in life is usually longer than the time of execution. Look at Moses, and I'm about to get that age when Moses started his career or started being the first project manager we know of. And that is the time we need to get what we need to get before the year comes. So the event is on December 22nd. Once again, for those of you who missed out, it's the Mentorship Academy, and it starts at 7:30. There'll be a physical meeting, and for you to register, all you need to do is go to reverendwater.com. So it's water.com. If you go to water.com right now, you'll find the details for the event on the 22nd of December. Dr. Nelly is one of the speakers, Reverend Water is one of the speakers, and Dr. Silver Bimos is also one of the speakers. The Mentorship Academy, don't miss out on that. Water.com is where you need to go, and check for details on the Facebook page as well. That is on December 22nd. Something again to add into your arsenal, some more information to get you over the finish line. Speaking to you on this platform is not only a dream come true, it is a real blessing to just share some knowledge and some information that I have and just to speak to people. I haven't spoken on this platform ever. I have spoken on other PLD platforms, but if you're not a member of PLD, if you haven't gotten the FlexLearn app, I would implore you to do so now. PLD runs mentorship classes. I'm one of the mentees. I'm a product of PLD. I wasn't always this person, and as you've seen there below, it says I run something called Last Drop Therapy, and that is because for a long time I was an alcoholic, but I've been sober 3 years now. So these are the things that prosperity for your soul is about. It's not about a perfect person coming to speak to other perfect people. No, it's an imperfect person speaking to other imperfect people. Because in as imperfect as we are as people, we each hold the key or the solution to someone else's life, to what someone else is going through. If I had just sat down today or yesterday when I was asked to come and speak on this platform and thought of all my problems, I wouldn't be here. I'd be weeping the way Hezekiah was weeping the first part of the story before he got restored and before years got added to his life. So I figured this is an opportunity as good as any, not only to speak to people, but to also come out of my shell, to also share a bit of what's in me. And feel free to reach me on all my social media platforms. At Write That Pain on my Twitter, at Zambia's handle on Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook as Kampamba of Luki. It's been an absolute pleasure. It has been an honor. Thank you so much for the platform, Reverend Water. Thank you so much, Dr. Nelly, for the tremendous work you keep doing in people's lives of transformation. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still getting transformed. And, as people do on TV, I'd also like shout out my moms. I'd also like shout out my dad as well. They're the people who gave birth to this tremendous person you see, but they also poured out in me. So shout out mom and dad. I appreciate you and I love you all. Thank you for tuning in to the call. This has been Prosperity for Your Soul. I've been your speaker, Kampamba Mavluki, founder and CEO of Verbatim Scribe and Last Job Therapy. See you in 2024, but see you on this very call as well. Please don't forget 22nd December, we have an event. Check out water.com. I appreciate you. I love you. God bless you. It can be you, and there's still some life left in you. Have a blessed Thursday. Let's go out there. Let's get it.